already agreed to start. There we are. Welcome
back.
This
thing. Welcome back to this week's podcast, which this week is going to be brought to you by Ancient Lamentations and fuck you, Arkansas.
Okay. This week is also brought to you by Haiku and Horrible Shirts.
I am your host, Madison.
I'm your other host, Jesse James. This is our conversational leftist mukbang. And I'm going to start off early here because I have hot water that I want to get in here. I was given this as a thing. It is some licorice Ramsey. And I have not tried it, but I was looking in here and it has the sifting device in the box.
What is a Ramsey? What is this, like a tea situation?
Yeah. I believe that is another word for what would be like an herbal tea, like something that's not necessarily a tea per se, but it is a infusion. Is this going to be one of these stupid foil bags that I can't open?
Yep.
All right. I'm not even going to try to ruin that bag. I'm just going to grab a sharp object.
Sharp objects. Ah!
All right. There we go.
Licorice Ramsey. That sounds very whimsical and nice.
That is what I'm hoping. Oh, interesting. I mean, it is definitely loose.
Yeah.
I did not ask where this came from. I received it. There's definitely smaller particles of it that are coming out onto my pants, but that's okay. Because I'm about to pour scalding hot water also over my pants. So, you know, maybe we'll have two bits of tea, but one will be undrinkable.
Perfect. That's what you want.
Ooh.
Ooh. Yeah. I'm enjoying the ASMR of this.
Let's drop this in here. God, I hope that does what it's supposed to do, but I'm going to give it a little extra filtering by way of pouring it out of this silicone encasement into this, perhaps the most ASMR cup that we have.
Perfect. Yes. Oh.
Yeah. The bad kind.
It's squeaky.
I was sent some ASMR videos this week that included things that are pretty inappropriate and that I didn't know would be called ASMR, and I think I am now off of ASMR's team again. Anyway, I'm going to let that steep. Do you have any food items?
I have one cocktail item for today.
What?
I've already gotten into this, and I would like everyone to know these are terrible. Don't purchase them.
They look good, so I'm glad that you're letting me know. I am absolutely buy those now that you told
me. They're not. So this is the Fugu Horchata cold brew cocktail from Cutwater Spirits. It's supposed to be like a mixed thing in a can.
What does Fugu mean for that?
Fugu, I think it's a brand of vodka.
Okay.
So it's like cold brew and vodka basically, and it says it's horchata flavor. There is no semblance of cinnamon sweetness. There's no horchata flavor here. It's basically kind of really shitty tasting coffee with shitty vodka in it. So
okay. Honestly, that is not too far off from what I would get on my afternoon diner trips. I also have a thing, but it is good, and it's Pacific pineapple cider. And I tried one a couple weeks ago. I didn't buy them, and I was gifted another one, so I'm having it here.
Very nice. That sounds very good.
Tastes a lot like pineapple, but I also have this horrifying looking thing. This is for later, maybe. This contains tequila, a lot of straight lemon juice, and 2 blueberries. I made it yesterday, and I had a couple sips of it because I had like just some actual tequila, without additives, and I was like, okay, maybe I'll try something a little smoother. So I added some shit to the tequila, and I was like, this is not smoother. This actually hurts in a very different and noticeable way. So I put that in the fridge and figured it'll be a thing tomorrow.
It'll be useful at some point. Now that you've got the blueberries kind of steeped in there a little bit.
Yeah. I need a little bit of pain somewhere in the middle of the podcast to remind me not to get too comfortable.
Keep you on the edge.
Do you have any foods, or is it just a cocktail today?
It's just this. I do have one other drink item that I forgot to pull out of the fridge. That is a ginger lemon kelp drink.
Ooh.
It's very odd. It's kind of just very watery tasting with the hint of ginger, so it's not super exciting, but I may retrieve that at some point.
I look forward to seeing the texture if you do grab it. I think there was a spirulina drink that I used to get at Whole Foods that was similar sounding, where it was not exceptional in any way whatsoever, but it was also I'll drink this, sure.
Yeah, it sounds cooler than it is.
I'll cut these open. I might get into some of these in a bit.
Ooh,
I saw them selling some pretty good-looking ones of these, so I did spritz them all with alcohol. So we'll see if that affects the impact of unwrapping them or not. Now, I do have a couple other food items before I try pouring some of this tea. It is post the Lord's Day now. So I'm going to open up this. Some kind of chocolate marshmallow catastrophe, I imagine. It does say it's from Easter Bunny headquarters on the little farm stamp. So
don't like that.
I have to assume these have not been in asses. This is some Ninja Turtle toy grade plastic they put this in.
Did you know that if you dissect a chicken, they store multiple yolks in their bodies at the same time, and then the shell is formed after my mom
I did actually
told me this.
I had chickens, but I never really considered anything beyond, oh yeah, these probably harden up right before they hatch them, but
yeah.
The whole albumin thing I just assumed was a part of some sort of swirling process. I didn't really consider they were storing them. This is way weirder than I expected inside. I can already tell by the smell of these that I'm going to be giving some of these away. Oh!
Oh God, oh no.
That's some solid marshmallow in the middle that I wasn't expecting.
It looked like a tough bite there.
That bite means business. These are not falling apart. They are not especially squishy.
Huh.
What the hell fell all over my... Weird. Okay, let's just ignore the plastic shavings that I guess came off of that. I'm just gonna have to pretend like everything I'm eating today isn't, like, potentially dangerous. Because if I don't, I'm not gonna be able to do it. Also,
I don't know. I feel like the danger kind of adds to it a little bit.
I mean, it adds to my enjoyment of it.
Mm-hmm.
These are white cheddar bunny tails.
I don't like that.
Apparently.
Tails.
Here's a good image to really pull it all together.
Oh no. Why thinking, okay, if you name something a cottontail, that cannot be a savory food item.
Yeah.
That's my rule. That's how I feel like it should go.
These seem like completely uncheddared. They seem like very soft rocks in a way.
I mean, the crunch sounded promising.
Huh. I don't know what to think. They kind of just taste like popcorn. They're edible.
I mean, I'd probably be into it.
I'm not going to have this face on while I eat it. There we go. That face is a little extreme for the delight, but I'm not against it. They are acceptable.
I mean, it's pretty difficult to mess up a white cheddar ball.
Now, what I wasn't anticipating, it's on a Sunday, on the Lord's Day, you're tired? I wasn't anticipating was that the store near us would just give us free shit because of pandemic reasons. I'm not really sure what's up. They handed us a bag, and they were like, hey, it's Easter. In that bag was a single serving of dish detergent.
Ooh, nice.
One scented trash bag.
Score.
A bag of honeycomb big bites, which appear to just be like Honey Crisp, but much larger. Like, yeah. I don't know what's up with that. I'll probably try that in a bit. But then the thing that they clearly were focusing on that I'm definitely interested in trying because it looks bad is coming off of last week, Dunkin' Caramel Macchiato.
Oh boy.
Cereal? So that's probably not good. So I'll be are
there like little frosted pellets in there?
They appear from the picture to be marshmallows of the cream.
Oh no.
Sometimes you need to find interesting ways to get people to eat the cream.
Yeah. And sometimes that way is by compressing it into a small
somehow that's way
tablet.
Worse. Anyway. I think that's...
Well, I look forward to watching you put yourself through all of that later.
Yeah, well, this looks at least potentially steeped.
It looks very light in color.
Yeah.
It's hard to see, though. Oh, no, that looks like a tea.
Yeah, not too bad. Um, not incredibly licoricey off the bat. I also have intentions of if this isn't licoricey enough, I bet I could add like honey and whiskey to this.
What's the
Oh shit. That is all right. I'm into this. That hit my mouth like water and then coated the entire inside of my mouth with licorice.
Oh,
Yeah,
good.
that's interesting.
In a good way.
It's licorice. It's always a good way.
That's true.
All right. Yep.
That sounds like a very interesting base for some drink opportunities.
Yeah, actually, because a lot of drinks or a lot of things that hit the inside of your mouth, especially teas and stuff, where they kind of coat instead of having like a strong flavor.
Mm-hmm.
The flavor after you drink it is pretty minimal, and this actually is kind of staying in my mouth a bit and just making my mouth taste like licorice. I think there could be some really interesting uses for that and mixed drinks. I might have to make a bag of this and have you try it, because I bet you could steep that in whatever, based on the fact that I think that thing that it shipped with opened up in this container. So I don't think it's doing any special magic. I think it's just a weird large strainer. Anyway,
well,
so far, I would recommend this.
Licorice Ramsey. I'm looking that up. I want to know where it's from.
They would like everybody to know we are not responsible of bad storage. So,
oh no. Okay,
ingredients. Peeled licorice roots, crushed and saturated with pure licorice extract, and that's it. So this is just a box full of infused licorice root. So that's probably why it tastes like that.
I mean, yeah, that sounds pretty. Licorice Ramsey. Okay, where are you from? Tell me where you're from. Origin?
I can tell you where this is from.
Lebanon.
Yep, this is from Syria.
There we go. We did it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good. The teas that you sent me a while ago, I think there was a cherry one and there was a cola one.
Yeah.
Those were both very good. I enjoyed those.
I have kept those around. I think that was the last cola one that I have seen. And the cherry ones are like rare, but I'm hoping they start getting picked up somewhere because those are both like high on my list of teas I would drink.
Mm-hmm. I really liked the cola one. Where was that one from?
The cola one was from China. It was brought over by hand for me, and I have seen places to buy it on very rare occasion. The other one is like a German tea, I want to say. Mm-hmm. They might both be from Europe, but the place where they were bought, one was from China, and the other one was, I think, in Leavenworth. I think Leavenworth had the cherry one.
That would make sense. I could see them having that.
And the cola one I wanted to send, I'd been hanging on to that for like, I don't know, a handful of months, and it was definitely like if you were to have like the last beer you were like not sure where to get anymore, and you realize like I could drink that last beer and be sad that it's gone, or somebody else could get this disease as well.
It's always good to share the disease.
Yeah.
That seems to be our general MO as a country now.
And that's just my usual feeling on things. Yeah, the U.S. is especially good at that. So while we're still, I don't know, should I do that at the top? What do you think? Poetry is a closing thing or an opening thing?
I think poetry could be a closing thing.
I think you're right. I feel like you got to make people wait for it.
Yeah, I think so. Unless you want to make people wait for our deep dive. I don't know. Our takes on the Snyder Cut.
Yeah, our takes on the Snyder Cut are going to happen either way. So, I know that you're focusing on some news. Let me jump into some of the smaller things on mine, because I do have Snyder Cut up towards the top. But I guess I'll start off with some where I'm at, which is a lot of places the last week. But one of the places I was at was so I've been watching the Falcon and Winter Soldier show.
Mm-hmm.
And earlier in the day, when it came out, while I was at work, somebody was texting one of my group chats being like, "You're not going to believe it. It's amazing." And I've watched the first 3 episodes, and I was like, I don't know about that. But I have my own like specific problems with the whole thing. So I got home and I prepped a bunch of stuff, and then I watched it, and I guess I won't spoil it if it's only like a few days old. I won't spoil it for now. Next week, when I most likely talk about it somewhat again, I will spoil it. But an event happens that I want to say something like it has happened in the comics over and over at different times. And I guess people watching a TV show are probably new to it, or people are so used to Disney like doing nothing that when they only pull a punch slightly, people are like, ooh. And for context, this show is basically leaning into like Disney as a company saying, here's all the problems that you're dealing with right now, and we're going to represent them in this show that's about 2 main characters. One's black and one's like an ex-con, so we're going to like do stuff with that. All the stuff they do with it is fucking ridiculous, and it's kind of insulting. And up until this point, it's just been like, I don't know. It's been entertaining enough in that way that a lot of Disney stuff lately has been entertaining, but its messaging is just completely whack. It actually is very similar to the Snyder Cut messaging of like, if people have the power to do something, we should give them all the power possible to do that thing and not restrict it at all. Like, that's the moral of this show so far. And along the lines of that stuff, they also say, like, I mean, sometimes there's racism. I mean, that's not good either. But I don't know. I'm not going to go on about it, the actual show. But what did happen is I had that little bit of tequila last night. And I was feeling it just enough to be like, I'm going to lay in bed and relax and try to get tired. Which, based on the fact that it was like 4:30 in the morning, and I want to say something, I forget. Oh, I think that you had like interacted with something on like my Instagram like a half hour before that. I was like, okay, everybody's just kind of like having a cool night tonight.
Yep.
And so I decided to just see what people on Twitter had to say about the episode 4 of Falcon and Winter Soldier, and that was just a fucking nightmare. Going through, like, I was laughing very loud in the middle of the night under what I think might be somebody's kid's room, which is probably unfortunate, but that's what living in an apartment gets you. And there was just so many people who were, like, posting, like, cry faces and various intense memes that are completely inappropriate to the actual, like, events. Lots of, like, Avengers gifs. Lots of things that are just, like, for something on this TV show that is, like, just a plot point. Like, it's at least vaguely, like, interesting, but it's not actually, like, a big deal. And the entire 3.5 episodes so far had been leading up to just that one scene and basically nothing else. And the amount of Disney dick sucking that was, like, going on Twitter hurt real bad. And then I went into a Twitter hole that led me towards Disney. What's it called? Disney University is a place where you learn how to do Disney stuff when you get hired by Disney.
Disney University.
But that's not what I looked at. I looked at let's get off weird Twitter for a second. Phone. Whatever that update that they did that, like, sometimes sets you back into other spots where you were on your tabs needs to fuck right off. Because sometimes I need to open my phone and not be on the last tab I was on.
Oh, yeah, that's been a problem.
Yeah, I'm just glad I don't wear glasses. It wasn't the weirdest Twitter, but it wasn't, like, necessarily the best Twitter for... Disney Institute is what it's called.
Ugh.
It has, this is just on the Wikipedia page, it has this logo, which, if that doesn't fill you with a slightly dystopian fear, I don't know what will.
Why would they do it like that?
And it's noted as being professional development and external training. So it is, and its founder is Michael Eisner. It's unlike Disney University, which teaches Disney employees how to be better employees. Disney Institute is a place that teaches other companies' employees how to be better, like, business people and other people's, like, management, how to manage. Which, considering the amount of control over, like, money and things in the United States, especially, that Disney has, that's sort of, like, gross. They offer a lot of training to, like, government and military people as well. For, like, specifically, it was brand management and how to maintain a like a brand ecosystem within your company. So it's basically, like, you can take that to mean maintaining your values if you think companies are great, or you can take that for what I would probably take it as, and it's more like, say what Amazon is doing with its attempts to unionize, where they're maintaining their ecosystem by trying to crush union opposition and stuff like that.
Yeah, have you seen the fun stuff that they're doing on Twitter?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Those accounts are the most ridiculous dummy account, like, bad.
They're really not trying.
It's like they have just a set layout of this is what our dummy accounts look like, and they're just plugging it into everything, and then the end of every description is like, and I think Amazon is doing legally fine. Yay! Definitely a person.
I am very real. And I am a
don't
very
worry about Amazon
happy.
from me, a real person.
Me, the happiest Amazon employee that ever was.
God. Yeah, those things are incredible. I know that the one union attempt has not borne any fruit, but I think that that's probably a pretty limited time thing based on how much bad optics they've gotten off of this.
Yeah.
As long as people can just not get distracted by the next nip slip or whatever the fuck happens in like coming pseudo post-pandemic United States. I've been seeing a bunch of articles going up of like, watch out, this is the generation of lust. And it's like, you mean everybody's been trapped for a year? What the fuck are you talking about? It's
the generation of lust.
they're basically setting up a thing from the looks of it of making sure that Gen Z and millennials get a new bad rep as being people who want to hang out again, because there's always got to be something, whether it's turkeys or diamonds or whatever that we're doing.
I thought our problem was that we weren't having kids, and now we're doing too much lusting. Okay.
Yeah. What's with all this love? Disgusting. Anyway, another thing that I've been following in a similar fashion is that fucking... I mentioned this last week. The Matt Gaetz stuff is just a nightmare. Have you looked at any of that? It's sort of all over the place.
Not since we talked about it last week.
Do you want to hear like the very basics, and I'll send you some pictures, because I think that'll pretty mix it up.
Yes, I do.
So the general thing is Matt Gaetz. I've also had to make a new album in my phone of just things related to podcast garbage and other stuff, because I don't have a choice. Here's one reference. I'll go grab the others because I did not move them. The other ones, I wanted to delete the pictures because they honestly make me kind of uncomfortable. But
yeah,
I need to share them first so that you can delete them as well.
Ooh, that feels bad to read.
Yeah.
Ooh.
All right.
For the listeners, I will read this out loud. In 2 late-night Venmo transactions in May 2018, Representative Matt Gaetz sent his friend, the accused sex trafficker Joel Greenberg, $900. The next morning, over the course of 8 minutes, Greenberg used the same app to send 3 young women varying sums of money. In total, the transactions amounted to $900. Wah, wah.
Now there should be some photos underneath that. So this guy has these are the like more like stock accessible photos. Matt Gaetz has a just ridiculous, like easily over 100 photos if you look, of him with high schoolers, just like posing with them. And then like there's a lot of really sort of troubling I don't know. His comments on stuff are not the best. Like they are not the comments of a 40-year-old man, let's say. And then
I hate that his face is exactly the same in every single picture.
Well, that's just, political face. He also apparently was one of the only people who, I think in Florida, they were trying to pass a bill to like crack down on trafficking like minors in various ways. And he's like one of the only people who dissented in that in like votes in Florida.
Weird.
Yeah, which is also just a like, if you're gonna be a complete scumbag, why would you like why would you be that open about it and assume you're not going to get caught, I guess? Not that I want him to not get caught. It's just like, can you be maybe like not so gross? I don't know.
Yeah.
Matt Gaetz is the perfect example of like there just isn't any version where he's not doing some bad shit. And the fact that he's probably still not going to get punished for it is really shitty. I know that he is at least supposedly not going to be running again, but that's like barely anything.
Yeah, that's something, but doesn't
Also,
really.
if you get the chance, anybody watching this or you should look at his Tucker Carlson interview, in which he tries to rope Tucker Carlson into like being his character witness several times, and by the end of it, he's just like, no, I would not, I would never be like with underage people. Like Matt Gaetz is just like not good at being like sneaky about his illegal, terrible shit. So that's fun. I think at one point he insinuates that the 17-year-old that he supposedly had a sexual relationship with, that like Tucker Carlson met her at a dinner party, and everything was fine then, like that kind of shit, where it's just like, what? Anyway.
Oh, no thanks.
Both very dark and very fascinating. Did I talk about Scooby-Doo last week? I can't remember.
I don't think you did.
Okay. I guess. Oh, god damn it! Yeah, I've got. Why don't you talk about something?
Okay.
This stuff is weird.
Let's see. Well, since we're in this sort of a political corner, I could talk about the fun, really horrible anti-trans bills that are getting passed and, well, have been passed in Arkansas. Limiting patients' ability to, or anyone's ability to get gender confirmation surgery. Is that what they're...
They're trying to make it so that there's an age limit on the ability to get help.
Yeah, and it's like 21 or something insane.
Yeah, it's something where like if you're gonna get reasonable help for something that you need, it kind of has to be like before or during puberty to have non life destroying effects on you.
Right.
So they're in essence making it so that people who know early that they are not comfortable with the gender they are and should be someone else, they are instead saying, no, you go fuck yourself and stay with it. So that's cool.
There were a couple of, I can't remember the representative's actual name, but there was one lady who had a really fun quote where she was saying that legislation like this is going to basically taking the, oh, we have to take care of our kids angle, and like we're saving them from a bunch of confusion, when in actuality, her winning quote was something along the lines of like, we're doing this so we don't have kids like identifying as cats and things like that.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a complete echo of people saying that people who are gay are one step away from bestiality, where it's like, I don't know what the fuck you mean with your definitions if you think that that's what's up. I sent you a picture. So if you go to you can go to anti-transgender legislation on freedomforallamericans.org. I just sent you a picture of all of the states that have bills currently proposed in them. Texas having, I think, the most at 12 anti-trans bills at the moment.
Yeah.
But that map isn't nothing.
Nope, that's a pretty
So
significant amount. And I know that even in Idaho, they've passed some very anti-trans bills having to do with like sports and stuff like that.
yeah.
So yeah,
A lot of those too don't even get counted in the like things that are being pushed on people. Like they act like it's a protecting women thing or that kind of garbage. Like
yeah, like the
American
bathroom
turf
stuff.
shit, basically.
Yeah, which is just so frustrating and shitty that I mean, of course they're taking the save the woman and children angle, but in any other situation, we don't care about women or children or
Right.
like women's bodily autonomy. Or in this case, this has a lot to do with bodily autonomy. Like that, no legislation should ever tell someone what they can and can't do between them and their doctor. Like that
Yeah.
seems severely unconstitutional. Not that I give a fuck about the Constitution, but
Right. It is
anyway.
supremely frustrating seeing people just sort of ignore this when it seems like the same people who would be outraged about like having gun restrictions should also be outraged about this. A
Mm-hmm.
gun isn't part of your body. You would think you would have at least autonomy over that, but not according to these bills. And I think it says a lot about the people who pretend to be about like personal rights when they apparently don't give a shit about this.
Mm-hmm.
The stuff that I heard that was the most affecting was definitely the idea of like, I mean, most people know about like suicide rates and stuff in the trans community. I think that's pretty well known at this point that it's much higher than basically any other person. Like if you are in that range, you're not choosing an easy life. You're choosing to try and make things better for yourself even though you got dealt a shitty hand. And literally the thing that will keep you from having as shitty a hand is if you are lucky enough to realize it early and be willing to go through the actual like process before you get stuck in a body that you feel like is not yours.
Right.
And I don't know. I think that if people are going to start having problems, I mean, not that people are starting, but if people are going to have problems with things like this, then people shouldn't be able to have dick pills. People shouldn't be able to have fucking testosterone. People shouldn't be able to have hair plugs. Like, what the fuck do you think all that stuff is? Like, that's not
Mm-hmm.
you, apparently, so you shouldn't be able to have it, right? Like, it just doesn't seem like people give a shit. But the whole dick pills versus birth control versus all that shit, like the fact that people don't think about birth control and all of its other effects on like a person's body, because that's not the point. The point is whether or not our child makers are going to be making them or not. It's all trash. Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I just wanted to make sure that people knew that was happening peripherally because there's a lot of shitty things happening, and I feel like people are starting to check out
I
again just
I think
because.
I think people checked out a while ago, but yeah, totally.
Yeah, because like, oh yay, we won, so just because Biden's there, it's all fine now. But
People are too busy watching fuck. There's like a handful of like Twitter and YouTube people who are like celebratory Biden win people who are still very active that are just like weird flag bearers for like, look at us, look at how good we're doing, and they get like 1 billion likes on that shit, and it feels like that.
Yeah, there's a particular corner of like TikTok people, especially that are like that. It's real bad. Hate it.
People talk about TikTok like it's completely people under 20. TikTok has got the darkest corners of old fucking weirdos.
Yeah.
If you ever want a fun time, don't do this, anybody. Go down emotional breakup TikToks for people who are like over 50. And it is a fucking graveyard. It is so hard to watch. People crying in their cars, people singing, people like reading all kinds of like heartfelt things out into the world from like their fucking break from a hunting trip. It's just a lot of like, man, like I would rather watch that fucking video from I watch a Last Stream weekly, and there's a video of a man cutting his own nipple off. I would far rather rewatch that, because that I laughed quite a bit at. And I mean, it's not great to watch, but it's like a nervous laughter that's like more genuine, because like, I don't know, it's just a nipple, I guess. Dudes' nipples don't do a lot, but like the emotion. It's like watching back-to-back people, which you can also find on TikTok, doing their best Joker impressions, where it's just like, oh, it hurts so much, but like, if I can just writhe on the floor in front of it, it's got a certain quality to it that I appreciate.
That's the only way to get through most of those videos. Just writing on the floor.
TikTok is great. Oh.
Yeah, there's a lot of TikTok that I enjoy, but that is not one of the corners. I enjoy frog TikTok quite a lot.
Frog TikTok's good.
Yeah, frog TikTok is good.
Pig TikTok. It's a good place for pigs.
Pig. Okay. Yeah.
As
Mushroom
a pig fan.
TikTok, very good.
Mushroom TikTok. TikTok feels like it's a lot of transitioning to hippie adulthood millennials being like, hey man, I'm just like escaping everything, and check out this fucking mushroom. Which I can appreciate. I'm not gonna do it, but I like that exists at least.
I'm always down for a video of someone just kind of lightly patting a nice mushroom. Yeah. It's pleasing.
The internet is a series of mushrooms. You just gotta lean towards the good ones.
Yeah. Speaking of a series of mushrooms, Prince Philip is dead.
Hell yeah, he is, baby. I saw Ken Klippenstein's tweet before he deleted it. Nice. You want to see it?
Wait, I didn't see it. Well, I didn't see it. Yes, I want to see it.
I was literally on Twitter, like I shouldn't be on Twitter, and then I got to that, and I was like, oh hell yeah, and I liked it, took a screenshot of it, and then it was like, this is no longer available. It's like, ooh. I think it had like 20 likes on it. It might have 20 or 200. It was like a very short tweet lifespan, and it was just like exactly what I was looking for, because I felt like, kind of like with the Snyder Cut, there was a lot of people out there just being like, I can't believe he's dead. What a champ. It's like, oh, gross. This looks like the right.
Did you see any clips from like the Fox News coverage of him dying?
No. What was their take on it?
Oh dear God! So far up the British royalty's ass. It was ridiculous. I don't know
what the
why.
fuck
It's
is
like,
wrong
why?
with Fox?
I don't. You would think, like, I don't know. They're just so far removed from. Sorry,
That's a good tweet. That should have stayed up.
That should have. Oh, dang.
Let me send you the tweet that I was going to send last night. Then I was like, I don't need to flood out too many tweets. It's not like that many people are going to see them. But also, like, I found it very funny.
Oh, no.
Sometimes you get a slightly drunk art project going and you're like, yeah, that'll do.
Oh, no. Oh, God. Yeah, on Fox, one of the first things they did was try and say that Meghan Markle's, like, Oprah interview killed him.
Right. Yeah, no, I remember that now.
It's like, if you're getting killed by an interview, then it's probably time.
Yeah. He was
I mean,
99.
look into these eyes and tell me that it's not time. It's been time.
99 years old. Also, do you know how they met? Like, do you know why him and the Queen were together? Other than being cousins?
Ew. I know that she was 13.
Yeah, and he was 18.
But no, I don't remember.
13-year-old and 18-year-old cousins. Match made in heaven. Oh, so, death to a real one. So glad he's lived a good life.
R.I.P.
Yeah, sure.
The young sprightly man that he was at 1990.
He looked like a literal vampire.
Oh my god. If I ever get remotely close to this, please just take me out back behind the shed and just finish it.
If anybody got a photo of you looking like that, like, what do you have after that? Like, what's that face thinking about? God, oh God, it hurts. Like,
I really enjoyed the series of everyone's memes, just like guessing what could kill him. I saw people posting pictures of like candles from Bath and Body Works saying like, "Oh yeah, this would do it."
Man.
Oh my god. That was a fun week on Twitter. A little bit. Briefly.
Yeah, I mean, we lost DMX too. Not that he did exclusively things that I enjoy, but he was a decent human being for a lot of his existence, and that's pretty cool.
Mm.
He did rob somebody for like $200 at one point, which I found very funny. But like, you know, there's a great video if people want to relive some DMX stuff of him walking into a McDonald's and I think it's a McDonald's, and getting like a tall, like, oh, it's like maybe it's not a McDonald's, because I'm pretty sure he gets like a Cherry Ricky or something, and then he like pours out, I think, like that much of it, and just fills it up with I forget what he has with him, probably like vodka or something. But it's just him doing that on camera and like walking around with it and like hanging out in like the city, and it's very good. Just the idea of doing that. I did emulate that after I saw it a few years ago, and it's extremely liberating. Nobody stops you for like having a tall soda from somewhere.
Yeah.
You pretty much have whatever you want in there.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess actually rip DMX. rest in piss, old British man.
I mean, he probably was.
That picture looks like he's soaked in something. It's a cover to Escape from Gashcatraz. Anyway, so the Caribbean has a volcano problem. I guess that's another topic. This was mostly so we're both one shot into COVID now, to vaccines. How was your experience? Pretty normal?
Yes. My arm got sore. That's about all that I have experienced. I've heard that the second...
It feels like somebody did this. Like, it's not terrible. Yeah. At least it wasn't for mine, but...
Yeah, I didn't really notice too much. I did immediately after. I was just a little bit, like, lightheaded or whatever, but it's fine. I liked the situation, the way that they had it working, the vaccination lines that I went through. It was just like a car line and very efficient, like very fast. Although everyone who was working or volunteering there did look like they were not older than 18.
Yeah, I think you said something about that. That's very weird, but probably for the best, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it can't be that hard, right? You just like shove the thing in there and then you do the plunger and you're good. So,
I mean, my dad learned how to draw blood without too much, like, extra work involved. So I did have... That's maybe a pop secret, the story of what happened with that, but...
Drawing blood?
It's a minor pop secret, maybe. So my dad and my sort of brother both learned how to draw blood to help at a inflammatory disease and cancer research place, and I had to have blood drawn for a sports thing, I think, or it was a sports / medication thing, I want to say, and so they were gonna do it. And this is literally sitting at our dining room table. Like, we basically had a breakfast nook that had a dining room table shoved in it. So we're, like, crowded around this little table thing. And both of them took turns. And I had such low blood pressure and such, like, deep veins that after, like, 6 tries, they finally just, like, got in there and got it. But it was like not perfect, and it had worked great on everyone else every time they'd done it, and me once before. But that one time, I just got, like, absolutely destroyed, and man, that sucks. Like, I had a fear of needles before that, but there's definitely, like, a little overhang from, like, the amount of times just in your arm having needles at once that, like, I think they hit something hard at one point, and it's just like, I'd prefer not to worry about that.
No, that sounds incredibly unpleasant.
But to save face, my dad totally drew my blood before that and hit it perfectly. It was just that one day something wasn't right.
Something was up. Yeah, I've had blood drawn a couple of times, and I've never had an issue.
Yeah.
But
I don't like it when it's a lot. And I'm glad that I haven't had to do a lot of transfusion stuff, because transfusion to, like, harvest stuff out of your blood and then put it back in you takes out of one arm and puts it back in the other, and it's cooled off by the time it gets to your other arm.
Oh, no.
So there's all kinds of weird shit there. Yeah.
Oh, I don't like imagining that sensation. Ugh.
One side is
Like
sucked in, and one side is getting cold injected into it.
Ew.
Very weird.
Like a jelly donut, but
Yes.
blood.
Now you're the jelly donut. I guess, yeah. Something like
it was really fast though when I went through they did it so fast that she did it and I was like, are you gonna do it? And it had already happened, so that was good.
Yeah, shockingly easy, the shot.
Yeah, it was. I think I got the Pfizer. That's what I got. So
me too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
I still need to sign this, but I'll do that before I go to the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's been a decent experience so far. I'm glad that even if it feels like it's siphoning the ability to vaccinate the rest of the world, I'm glad that I can get vaccinated. It is very frustrating seeing our country be like the fastest country with the highest volume of vaccinations and all this shit, and like we just completely fucked off for the last year and let tons of people die. Anyway.
Yeah. That is
unpleasant. So speaking of vaccination shit, one of the first big problems that I've seen pop up in the news is this volcano on St. Vincent Isle. Have you seen that stuff?
Mm-mm.
All right, I'll send you some more pictures.
I need to see.
Partially, I'm just I've taken a lot of pictures and cataloged them over the last week, and now I'm excited to use them. So, anyway, so this is what St. Vincent Isle is like right now. I think those pictures are all from the last 2 days. Yeah. But that started on Thursday, I want to say. And Thursday or Friday. And so pretty much everything is going like you would expect with a eruption like that. Like people are evacuating, people are like doing stay-at-home orders. The ash cloud has gotten to, I want to say it's like Barbados or something. It got to a nearby area, but I don't know that set of islands well enough to say like which ones. But like there's stay-at-home orders basically in all the surrounding areas of the Caribbean. And the first thing I saw, and the thing that kind of disappeared from the news pretty quickly, is that they were getting a lot of help from cruise ships coming in to like get people off the island so they were not in danger, but not people who hadn't been vaccinated. So only vaccinated people were getting removed from the island, meaning people who are not lucky enough to be vaccinated in, I'm sure, a very shitty time frame over there, just kind of had to stay there and try to figure that shit out. And I feel like there's not really a clearer version of why this shit can't be treated the way we're treating it. Like you look at the map of like who was against making it open source to have the vaccine, and it's literally like red X's over the United States, Canada, the British parts of Europe, and Australia. Were all like, we shouldn't share this, and literally the rest of the world was like, yeah, we should share this right now. Yeah. So you want to look at long-lasting white supremacy. I think that's pretty much the clearest picture of it, is in the midst of mostly non-white people in serious danger because of the after effects of the way this has all been handled. And then like BBC and American news sources and stuff all leaving that part out when they talk about like, oh, there's some disasters over in the Caribbean. Anyway.
Yeah. Conveniently not mentioning that part.
There's some real interesting videos of people who are on the island, especially at night, shooting video of like how much ash is coming down, and it's just like it's like a heavy snowfall of ash. I think they said like there were 12 inches of ash over the course of a short time in one area, which is just like that's a lot to deal with. Like even just after it's done being in the air actively, how much cleanup that would take to like deal with everything being covered in it.
Yeah, I mean, most people have no experience of dealing with the after effects of that, but being in the Pacific Northwest, I know places where there's still ash on roofs from like Mount St. Helens a long time ago. So
the pictures of Seattle when that happened are pretty intense.
Yeah, like
it reaches a ways.
It's very scary, but I am surprised I have not heard much at all about that. Well, not surprised, but
yeah, the surprise might not be the right wording for
not
that.
Surprised. Yeah. Frustrated.
So I've got a lot of stories and they're all stupid. But Alex Jones, did you see the shit that he did also this week?
No.
Okay. So go. This is a pretty easy thing to look at, even if you don't have sound on. Go look up Alex Jones stops van of children, I guess.
Oh, dear God.
Yeah. Anybody who's watching or listening to this, I would suggest looking it up. It is possible that you might have to look at a video from a site you don't want to look at, so I guess be wary of hosting, but in general, there are definitely copies of it on places.
Conspiracy theorist Alex Jones prevents a car full of children reportedly not wearing seatbelts from driving away.
So, in the video, he is yelling at a man putting kids in the back of a van about him being part of the cabal of people abducting and eating children and all that stuff. And he beaches himself like a whale on the guy's hood for a minute. He points and yells a lot at him, and somehow he has a crew of like 5 people with him and cameras while he's doing it. And it's happening directly in front of the Catholic charity or whatever that is doing the stuff. Like the guy walked out with the kids, and clearly mid-video they started, but he had been putting them in the back of this van to drive them. And yeah, it doesn't look like they have seatbelts, so I guess whatever. But what it ends up as, and you can look this up other places that aren't Alex Jones centric, that charity is basically working with like U.S.-Mexico border stuff to make sure that kids are being vaccinated and things like that. And they were going to drive down the street, which he points at in the video, I'm going over there, to a COVID center that had been set up down the street from where they were. It's very disingenuous, but Alex Jones, of course, has a billion supporters on like Twitter and stuff like that are like, this fucking hero. I can't believe I've been listening to him for 20 years and he's still saving lives. It's like,
oh yeah,
it's that's like the Amazon dummy accounts, but it's real and it's Alex Jones fans.
With bios, just as frustrating, if not more.
I mean, they're more frustrating because they're like what you would expect.
Yeah.
A lot of talk about the shady globalists.
Ay, ay, ay.
Don't worry, globalist is a nebulous term. It doesn't mean anyone specific.
Definitely not.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't do that.
You shouldn't be able to. If you want to be a decent human, it's best not to.
Okay.
I'm going to go ahead and do this and make it nice.
Extra spicy. I think I'm gonna go grab my kelp drink.
That's perfect. You do that, and then I'm going to make this coffee not cold.
Okay. Time to retrieve the ginger kelp drink.
Okay. Let's see if I can find something stupid to tell people about.
Excellent.
Here's some pictures of the amount of ash that's currently on St. Vincent Isle. It looks like a moderate snowfall, but this is what their scenery currently looks like. So that's intense. Let me get this nice and close on here. Yeah, there you go. That's the other thing that they aren't dealing with currently. So if you want to go, I want to just reiterate, freedomforallamericans.org does breakdowns of like good and bad, but like left and conservative legislation and everything in between. They'll kind of break some of that stuff down so you can see what's happening where. And right now, like half of the states are trying to pass anti-trans bills, and it sucks. So if you are, I don't know, if you're a fan of staying up to date on that stuff and pushing back on the people in your life that are not
acquired,
not as informed, maybe check that out. All right.
Yes.
It's time for me to get coffee.
All right. Honey, okay. Kelp-based superfood drink. Honey ginger flavored. There is a good amount of material floating around in there. So we'll give this a try. I did sip it a little earlier just to try the flavor, but I didn't get a good sense of the texture. This is just like slightly lemoned water. With deep sea water. Oh boy. Oh.
Yeah.
So this water, it's not regular water. It's not your typical water. It is desalinated deep sea water. So
can you taste it?
Yep. Sure can. It kind of just has like a slight lemon flavor. Kind of I do taste the honey a little bit actually. It's
okay.
It's nice.
I like the color of it. It's a real like murky color.
Yeah, it's yeah.
It looks
There's
like
some bits floating in there.
It looks like a bad day of tap water out here. Every once in a while, it'll be like nobody's used the water for like a period of the middle of the day or something, and you'll like turn it on. It's just like, I'll skip it.
No. Yeah, it does remind me of that.
This is very tasty. This setup.
Oh, is that your tequila mixture along with the
Yeah, the tequila mixture with lemon and everything actually goes really well with the licorice flavor.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I would not have thought that.
It's smooth. And now I have coffee again. I just did a reminder on the anti-trans bill stuff and where to look that up. And if you want that or any other information, you can get a hold of us at itsthisweekspodcast@gmail.com, all one word. And
or alternatively on Instagram at Vegeta42069.
Yeah. Big day for 2069 the other day. I'm glad that we all know about it. It's really important.
It is.
All right. So I feel like Snyder Talk doesn't have to be like really long, but it'll probably take some time up. What are your thoughts?
Huh?
What are your thoughts on White Boy Summer?
Oh dear God! I saw that happening on Twitter, and I promptly threw my phone away and walked away, and did not pick it back up for a few hours at least, because I
put your phone in the trash and exited.
Yeah, pretty much. That was my my reaction to White Boy Summer. How about you?
That's the reasonable version of what I did is what you did, but my version of it was to watch a bunch of videos of Chet Hanks trying to explain what he meant.
Okay, yeah, that would also be that would also be pretty important.
I think in one of the videos he's like, well, fuck. Did you know that Chet Hanks uses like a fake Jamaican accent a lot? He does, and it sucks, and don't look it up. He does it like a lot, and it really bummed me out. He also he straight up does those like Biden won eat shit videos in a Jamaican accent from like his house, or like he looks like he's like just in LA on the street doing it, and nobody's like walking up and punching him in the face. So the main thing, though, the horrible shirts topic that I had, he made White Boy Summer shirts, and the text treatment on them is just white supremacist biker. That's it. Like, it couldn't be a worse text treatment. If you would, look up the White Boy Summer shirts.
I think I did see this because I remember
your algorithm on your internet.
I did see these because I remember scrolling across someone tweeted that with the photo and said there's no way to wear this and not look like a Nazi.
Yeah, that's the only, like, it doesn't have a death's head or a swastika on it, and that's about it. Everything else is there for you. Like,
oh no.
It's such a like bad choice.
Oh God. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yeah. Like that typeface should just be called white supremacist.
Mm-hmm.
Or like Identity Europa.
Yeah. I think I could get down with a White Boy Summer in like a, I don't know, it can't be Comic Sans. We've already done that.
Papyrus.
Papyrus would be great, actually.
Just White Boy Summer and Papyrus, and then like just a horror. I don't know what you would need a picture to really drive home what you're trying to say, but I can't really imagine what that would be. Maybe Darth Vader.
Yeah.
Darth Vader with his helmet off and like yeah.
Or maybe like Palpatine from the last movie where he's suspended on his like robot arm.
That might be perfect.
Yeah.
That kind of gets into that space of the Black Bart with an Obama like Sonic the Hedgehog backpack kind of thing. Like I could get in on that.
Yeah.
Not really anything else to say about that. Don't give Chet Hanks any money or attention if you can help it.
I saw somebody's tweet about that was really funny. I'm trying to remember exactly what it said, but it was something to the effect of Tom Hanks makes being a good person look easy and being a good dad look impossible.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. So sorry, Tom Hanks, but that's happening to you, I guess.
That's it. The White Boy Summer shirt should just be a picture of Tom Hanks getting the COVID vaccine.
Yeah, I think that's a white boy summer that most of us can relate to a little more at this point. Yeah.
Speaking of people you shouldn't give any money or attention to, Scooby-Doo's out here now, doing it for all the young business billionaires. Have you really looked into Scooby-Doo Eats at all? And I guess beyond that, have you really looked into Nathan Mosry enough?
Probably not enough. No. I think on a previous podcast you had me look up Scooby-Doo Eats.
I definitely
I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know I've scrolled through the website a bit and all like 4 food options that are available on it.
Yeah, because they sell hot dogs and hamburgers. We definitely talked about that. Now, the thing I maybe didn't talk about is that I watched the hour-long launch video for Scooby-Doo Eats.
Why?
In which,
why is it an hour long?
In which it is hellish. So, like, if you, this is partially a problem with America and everyone and Dubai, I guess, because, you know, this is also a problem with me and why my trajectory is spiraling into hell over time. So I watched this whole video and Nick, my roommate, watched part of it. And he was like in that state for the latter part in which like something is so horrifying that you can't leave the room, but that's all you want. And so I just want to break this down because I don't think anybody else should watch this, but I also, deep in my sort of sadomasochistic heart, want everyone to see this. This video is Nathan Mosry like making burgers with somebody who might be his mom, who doesn't want to be there, talking to a nutritionist who seems like a complete ghoul, who wants to be there but doesn't want to talk to Nathan Mosry. Then Nathan Mosry absolutely hired an e-girl to dress as Velma, but didn't tell her anything else about what he was doing. And so he does a call with her, and he's like literally just taking the feed from his like tablet, in which he's like doing an interview. He does a lot of interviews over the course of this video. And that was, he had already made burgers with maybe his mom and like gotten like weird defensive conversations with other people. All this shit had already happened. It was already like, this feels like just the other earnest side of a Tim and Eric sketch where I'm like, I'm feeling it. This is really giving me the like, gotta drink, gotta smoke, like feeling like something's gotta happen. This is like bad news. He gets to that conversation and it's like he paid this girl to be on here dressed that way and didn't have any lines for her. He didn't have any like direction. He was just like, okay, so what is it that Velma says? And then it would just be her like with a prop magnifying glass in like not a Velma outfit exactly, but like like a fashion Velma outfit. Very clearly not
Yeah.
for publicity, but for like here's your photo set, sir.
Yeah.
And
Oh, no.
and she's like, Jinkies? And he's like, very good. And that went on for so long. Like that granted, it was probably only like 7 or 8 minutes, but it was just like watching it was like grinding so much. And it's like clearly very uncomfortable, clearly not what they agreed on. All of it feels like it was signed off on after the fact. Like, we can use this in our launch video, right? And you know, whoever the person was doing that, like, they did a good job dealing with it. The last person, and I believe there is at least one other person who's like some sort of Scooby-Doo representative person in there. I think he has a woman who's like whatever the like Scooby-Doo estate. He has full licensing from Warner Brothers to do this, and he has a person from Warner Brothers beyond there saying like, we're excited about this intergaging
They should not
bullshit, just like fucking Jim Davis did with Garfield Eats. But the last person he has on there is like watching Faces of Death. It's like watching somebody like lay down on train tracks and just watching the train come. So it's just on him. He's the whole time he's in this fucking room that's like a small kitchen in a basement of some like professional building with like potted plants he clearly stacked up on the table to look like a set. And he's looking at his pad and he's like, I'm calling up the #1 super fan of Scooby-Doo. And right away it was this feeling of like, this could go really bad.
Oh no.
Because #1 super fans are usually an honorary title given to somebody who's like really into something. Like I worked with somebody who was a #1 super fan of something, and like it was cool to know them in person, but I would never like subject them to like a big audience or something, because like you know what they're about, but like the world doesn't need to look at them be a super fan. So he calls this person up and it focuses on just Nathan Mosry at the start, and he's just like, I know you're like the #1 super fan over there. Like, we're so excited to have you here to talk about Scooby-Doo and Scooby-Doo Eats, my intergaging whatever. And then it flips to the feed on the thing, and the #1 super fan seems cool enough, but he's a clearly like a somewhat disabled person who lives with his mom, and he's sitting on a couch covered in like Scooby-Doo memorabilia. He does not seem like he's been prepped that he's going to be on a video sent out to people. He does not seem like he has been like made aware of the questions he's going to be asked.
Oh no.
It is like we're getting into like e-girl again, but like way more uncomfortable, because I don't even know where to land on this one. And and so he's talking to this guy who clearly has like some social disability. Like, it's not I don't want to like pretend like I know what's up, but like, you know, he's having trouble getting his point across. He also seems like he's like following along, but like not sure at all what to do. So it's just deer in the headlights on these screens of him on the tablet. And Nathan Mosry seems like he's going to stop and be like, thanks for being here. And then he asks him like 10 more questions. And at the end of it, he asks him to sing. And it is watching Nathan Mosry and this guy just like, it is impossible. Like, I can't explain the amount of discomfort that I had watching that. It's like half of it's like, we know from the rest of this video that this is like very exploitative, and that this guy's a fucking like corporate ghoul who's trying to get people to eat like bad frozen lasagna that from his failed Garfield company. Also, now he just wears a brown suit. It's just like, it's the same shit. But that he's bringing in these other people off the internet to like suffer in this pit with him,
like in
so
costumes. Oh.
No, not the last guy. The last guy is just sitting on a couch. It was tough. It was really tough, and I have to show it to more people because I can't live with it being just me. Anyway, so there's that. So watch out, I guess, is what I'm saying. And then the rest of it was like fine. It was bad corporate shit. He doesn't really have a message. He basically says like, "Come and get it" at the end, but that's like it. And you've seen Nathan Mosry talk. He's like, he doesn't seem like a person. Somehow he's just like, everything he says is him trying to get a business thing in, but like to the degree that it's just completely incomprehensible. Anyway, that's the launch of Scooby-Doo Eats.
Why was it so long? There's two things you can buy. Why was it an hour long?
Hey, there's 3 things you can buy.
Oh no, that's worse.
Hot dogs, hamburgers, and the leftover lasagna from Garfield Eats.
Oh yes, Scooby-Doo's favorite, leftover lasagna.
Yeah, I remember in the cartoons where he's like, "Oh, lasagna." I hate Mondays. That was what he did.
That's how I remember it.
Yeah, me too, actually.
Yeah.
So don't watch it.
I'm probably gonna.
Yeah, it's so fucking rough.
Looking forward to the Equal Velma a lot, actually.
It's pretty good. It would be fine, but he makes it not fine at all. It is impossible to worry about other things in your life while you're watching it, so I will give it that.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Use that.
So, great to fall asleep to. This is Nobody Likes Dream Talk, I'm sure of it. I've had, in the last 2 weeks, so many fucking nightmare weird dreams that I don't know if it's related to like being in the vaccination cycle or if it's related to other shit, but even before I got vaccinated, I was already like getting into this weird super restless headspace for the season. But like, fuck, I have had fake dads that are trying to like do violence to me for some reason. I've had hologram computers in different parts of my body. I've had weird like assortments of death threats from like imaginary characters. Like, it's all over the place, and it's like I'm not having any like giant nightmares or anything where I wake up and my day is weird. It's just like a lot of really memorable, really weird shit with like recognizable people in those dreams where it's just I don't know what to do with it. Anyway, hopefully that's a time limited thing, because my life is interesting enough without that shit.
I wonder if that is vaccine related, because I've also had since about that time I've also been having very realistic but very weird dreams, and I don't know that I could even remember anything specific, but I know that almost every single day this week I've woken up and been like, what?
Interesting. Yeah, I wonder what's up with that, because part of me thought like maybe this is a release valve because I feel like I can see the end of the tunnel, and it's been like, a year of like repression in different ways. But also it could just be that my body's like, "Whoa!" So like, who knows?
Yeah, it's hard to know exactly
Yeah.
what to attribute that to.
Well,
Is it Snyder Cut time?
I'm gonna do Snyder Cut time, I think. I feel like that's where we should go. I feel like I should do I'll try and keep an eye on it. I'll try to make a tiny space at the end to get the Poetry Month contribution in.
Okay.
As a side thing, I am currently working on a handful of poetries to go into a project that we're hopefully going to have happen in the future. So I'm going to read like 3 or 4 selections from those over the course of this
yay.
month. Because I feel like I tend to get really in my head about like, what if a project isn't completed? I don't want to like talk about it too much, and I'm starting to feel less like that lately. So I'm just gonna get people who might like it excited for it instead. And also, I like these stupid poems. Anyway, tell me about the Snyder Cut.
It was not good, but
what?
Yeah, so I will preface everything that I say with I have not seen the original Justice League. And I also do not care about the Justice League. So
yep. Hey, right there with you.
So I went into this with like little to no expectation. And I mean, okay, so I'll just start off with the things that bothered me the most.
Okay.
Zack Snyder does not seem to trust viewers to recognize the same characters from different scenes, because he seems to think that from this scene to this scene, unless he puts in some weird ancient lamentation music, we're not going to know who Wonder Woman is anymore. And so I watched that movie with someone with subtitles on, and every single time we had a Wonder Woman thing, cameo, whatever, scene, ancient lamentation music at the bottom every single time.
Yep.
That's just like her intro. And do you just think we are not going to remember who this person is, Zack Snyder?
I have a lot of issues with his music, and that is definitely one of them.
Yeah, it seemed like every single character had some sort of audio motif that had to play every time, because I don't know, he's trying to create some sort of Pavlovian response to like hearing the music. But that was by far, in a way, the thing that annoyed me the most. Also, Wonder Woman scenes were just kind of generally stupid.
Yeah.
That bank
there wasn't
scene.
A lot of God. We are reactionary terrorists.
Cool. Nice.
the at least like 2 or 3 people that she just outright murdered who were not a threat to her. Also.
Oh yeah, that happened.
I mean, that guy runs out of bullets and then she obliterates him, seemingly for no reason except to teach young children that you should murder people if you disagree with them.
You can be anything you want to be.
You can be anything that you want to be. You look sad because I just murdered that man. Are you okay? I just don't know if I'm going to be as cool as you.
You can be a #girlboss anytime you want.
What they should have had is Wonder Woman walk away and that girl pick up her sweater and be like...
Yeah. Okay, that's complaint number 2. Actually, that might be complaint number 1. There was something... I have not seen the Aquaman movie, so
It's not like that.
That's what I have heard from the person I watched the movie with, and that was very tonally weird.
Very weird way to start a movie.
It reminds me a lot of when in the last Star Wars when Kylo and Rey kiss, and like you know what's gonna happen because I guess I guess we want that to happen, but there's been no like significant reasoning for that to happen. I mean, this is obviously a much worse example, but
the Raylo kiss to me feels like they just amended the "we're not so different, you and I" scene to have a kiss in it, which
yeah, probably
either do it in every movie or do it in none of them. If we get "we're not so different, you and I" Lex Luthor Superman kiss, fine, I'm down. I'm down again, but
yes,
I don't think that's gonna happen.
but we need to be consistent. If you're gonna smell the sweater once, there needs to be something else there. You can't just have your weird like Nordic song, whatever that was, and then just
also, yeah, that like not quite a Bjork track that they sing.
Yeah.
I was constantly amazed by how thirsty they wanted every character to be about both Aquaman and Wonder Woman, where it was just kind of like, oh, we know they're sexy. Come on, let's keep it real thirsty.
We got
here.
it. I think we got it. Yeah. And you were right. That one scene with the Flash and the car.
I did not like the way that went down.
Mm-hmm.
The like, ooh, oh, he may as well have been like, ooh, like it was just fucking bad. Yeah.
Going from that to the plucking the hot dogs out of the air was something so unexpected that both of us were sitting there watching that and we're like, did that really just play that way?
Yeah.
And it did. It did.
At least they didn't do hot dog and then face, but still.
I guess. And I guess there was like a reason for the hot dog, but just watching that happen in front of my eyes.
Really.
Not really. I mean, yeah, not really. We could have done without it, but
fun fact, that scene wasn't in the original cut.
I learned that. So I did some research after the fact just to kind of understand what the differences were between the two.
Double the length.
Other than long time. And the music got weirder, I guess. It seems like he did some different, like a lot of very different lighting treatments, and like color gradation that was different. And the clips that I saw kind of compared and contrasted with each other. I do think I like his version a little bit better. Mm-hmm. It's just like it's a little more like gritty and brooding. Which
the original cut was a cartoon, and the original cut was a weird, like sexist, like power fantasy cartoon, and the new cut is a much longer, better looking sexist power fantasy gritty cartoon for adults this time.
Nice. Yeah.
That's basically how it felt to me, at least.
Yeah, that's the vibe I got too. They also get points deducted for having Amy Adams in a movie and like not knowing what to do with her.
She does nothing except like love Superman and love cops and be sad.
Yeah, like Amy Adams is so much better than that movie, in my opinion. So I don't know why. I guess she does something like semi-important briefly, but not really.
Really? Like
no. Very underutilized Amy Adams. And what was the other thing? Oh yeah. Stop making superhero movies with a cube. Every single movie, the whole point of everything is like this all powerful cube. if it's Transformers, if it's this, it's
Seen that
always
fucking
like
cube, though? It's a big deal.
every single movie has both of these things. All-powerful cube for no reason, and like sky beams of light for also really no reason.
Yeah.
And I can't, the whole time I was sitting there thinking, put the cube into my chest, Sam, and I can't get it out of my head when I'm watching like knockoff metal Thanos do his weird shit. Why do all of the villains look the same?
You know, there's actually a character in Amalgam comic books called I think it's Thanseed. That's literally a mashup of Thanos and Darkseid that just looks exactly like Darkseid. There's no difference. It has like a cleft chin, and that's like it.
Yeah, why do they all have just like the same like thick head, and then I don't know, they all kind of look Thanos-esque.
The main difference that was brought to my attention by a friend of mine that actually I kind of agree with, aside from, so I never talked about the second half of the movie. Honestly, there's not a ton that happens in the second half of the movie, but there is at the closing, in a way. But anyway, so did you ever see 300?
No.
Okay, so Darkseid in this iteration looks more like the bad guy in 300. The antagonist in 300 is the leader of the Persian army. And they really feel like there's like ideas taken from that character in this, which also one of the last lines from Darkseid is really laying into a like very like Middle Eastern sounding name of one of his subordinates. They really, it made me uncomfortable. I'm not saying any of it was terribly explicit, but there's already such a like sort of anti-Middle East and like Islamophobic sentiment to a lot of Snyder's work. And the way that he kind of did all of that, but then there's a character named Granny Goodness that is the weird random white person in those scenes with Darkseid that never talks. That felt like it was there to be like plausible deniability to me.
Yeah, I could see that.
And I'm not saying that original comic books weren't also leaning into some of their racist feelings, but like it really felt like something in the movie to me. So how did you like that Lord of the Rings scene with the underwear models playing Zeus? And because that I thought was very funny.
Honestly, I have blocked most of that out of my mind. I had a real hard time holding on to the thread during that movie. the second half, I don't remember as much, honestly.
Were you drinking? Because that'll do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. So
I believe that me watching it completely sober is part of my problem with this movie. I did. It did cause drinking after the fact, but I was taking notes during the movie, so I didn't end up doing a lot of extracurricular business. Speaking of notes, I did still have the second half notes. Let me check and see if I have anything important. But first, let me see if there's anything that I want to touch on. Did you notice Lois had a scene where her entire action and the entire scene was just her packing a suitcase and looking sad?
Yes,
I thought that
I did notice that
was fantastic. Did you like the scene where It's Ma Kent looking at a gravesite with a moving truck behind her and a foreclosure sign behind that. Because that was amazing. So
when I saw that scene, I had been asking a lot of questions that were like pretty dumb questions that I should have known the backstory to a lot of this superhero stuff. But it was getting to a point where the person I was watching was like, how do you not know this? So I decided that when when the grave came up on the screen and it said Clark Kent, I was like, oh, is that his dad? And that
nice.
that really threw him for he lost it for a few minutes, but that was really good.
Yeah, that scene is amazing. The scene where she comes to talk to Lois, and then for no reason it's an alien. It's just, hey, it's me, Martian Manhunter, and I'm here to do stuff. Bye. That was also a fantastic scene where it's just like, this scene is not good, but then following her into the hallway and her just going morph into aliens. We didn't need that in the movie.
I disagree.
Yeah, fair enough. Did you like how they used all the Bad Seeds music to just tell you what to think during the scenes where people were looking at stuff? Because that sucked.
Music choices were a lot of fun in this one.
So they also took out the Danny Elfman music that is Batman's old music, which was in the original cut for like Batman scored stuff. They like removed it and put in their like junky XL garbage that they used for this one. I don't think I liked a single song in this movie.
No.
But the removal of the few songs from the original cut that were like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool, was also noticeable for me at least. I hated when Batman and Wonder Woman touched the mouse at the same time and they hung on that and were like, hey, do you get it? They're like flirting maybe? Like not really. That felt
at least like cut out the Flash and Wonder Woman scene.
Yeah.
Which
there was no
later, but
there was no anime boob touch in their Justice League movie. Yeah, it's fucking ridiculous that existed in the first place.
Yeah, I saw that clip later when I was doing research. I was like, oh no. I'm fine without that.
Tell me your thoughts about the cyborg internal scene that they do when cyborg gets all internal for a minute.
That was the way that you described it was very dead on. I was not expecting for that description to be as accurate as it was.
It's really bad.
I think my favorite part from that montage, I guess, is, I mean, all of it. It was all really good. But
it's an excellent scene.
I really like the part where the bear and the bull are fighting each other because they're like, you get it? Stocks! Huh? Monies! And when he just like grows them stacks.
But then it's him going like, ooh, money for single mothers. And then it's him standing 10 feet behind her like, hey. Like, that's where the scene transitions to, is him like standing like a creep staring at her at an ATM.
It's like, yeah.
After you just got the scene of like, you're the Illuminati now, cyborg.
I don't know what all the cyborg lore is supposed to be, or if that is accurate really to what it is, but I feel like that's a lot more going on than is necessary for him,
Yeah.
because then just like fix everything, dude. If you can,
The
seems like
most
you can.
the most common thing for Cyborg to do is hang out with like other teen superheroes and like do stuff. Like he doesn't have like a strong role in most stories, and also he's just a cyborg most of the time. Like he's very advanced, but he's just a cyborg. So having him be like alien technology supercomputer is a little bit different than usual. Um, but yeah, he should have supposedly been able to solve all the world's problems right then.
Seems
But
like he could.
that scene is where I realized that this is actually Ayn Rand's Zack Snyder's Justice League cut. Like the whole like it's up to extraordinary people to use their abilities to help all of the rabble below them. Like that's where it really sunk in that it's like, oh, this is not like a populace facing superhero movie. This is like, wouldn't it be cool if you could be Thanos, but all of them are? And
Yeah.
that's also the fact that Zack Snyder gets constant praise for his amazing use of music in movies. Just, it really, it's the perfect Zack Snyder movie. I'll give it that. I watched the whole thing sober, going like, oh wow, and like it is, if you're somebody I think specifically who does not like Zack Snyder, it's actually the perfect movie to watch because it has like everything he does bad, just it doesn't have like rape scenes and stuff like he usually tries to work into things.
Oh shit. Yeah, he did Sucker Punch too, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he did.
Yeah. I mean, he basically ran Justice League through a Sucker Punch filter. Like, that's kind of what this movie is.
Yeah.
There is a point where Lois, I believe, is at a coffee shop, and they have a sign outside that does not say what the coffee shop is called. It just in big letters says, piping hot coffee. And I really enjoyed that for some reason.
I like sets like that.
Did you enjoy when she opened a drawer and it just lingered on pregnancy tests for like a full 2 seconds? I found that to be like very annoying as well.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Superman's dead.
Hey, not important, but we will give you a scene with Martian Manhunter instead. How about that? Also, here's the Flash plucking hot dogs out of the air and caressing a woman's face instead of explaining that.
And then like doing the dance carry for taking her.
Oh god, I forgot about that.
It's very not my favorite.
I also don't like that I had to watch his like feet slowly explode out of his shoes.
That is literally one of the only things that I was like, I didn't expect that when they did the Flash stuff. Was like, oh, his shoes exploded. That's interesting. But like, his feet would be ruined. He's moving fast. The world isn't. His feet are going to be bloody stumps after that. He needs shoes that are on his feet for that to work. But I think one of the only things that heaven or hell, baby. That scene has him blow his shoes up and like finger his way through a window, and I was like, that's kind of interesting in a sense. And then it was immediately into like Grope Town, and it was just like, okay, well that reverses everything I felt about the idea here. Also, you remember how late in the movie it is when that happens? It's like almost halfway through the movie, I think.
Yeah, it is.
That's the first time you get a Flash scene. And it doesn't feel like that now, because there's so much garbage. But like an hour and 90 minutes happens in that first half where they're setting everything up. And the fact that it's not quite halfway done at the end of that is still staggering to me weeks.
Yeah.
weeks after.
I remember when I started getting to the scenes where they were doing a little bit of backstory on like the Flash and then Cyborg and kind of slowly going through the actual characters. Yeah, by that time it is like halfway through the movie and you're like, oh my god.
Holy shit.
We haven't even started this thing yet. Oh my god.
Well, and like the movie starts off with Batman riding a horse across the tundra. It's just a lot of weird choices.
God, that opening scene was so just cringy. Like the handing the money to the little girl and she just like runs by and grabs it and keeps running. Like how so weirdly orchestrated and just stupid. It was stupid.
And then I'm not sure that version of Alfred is a good idea. Like there's lots of bad ideas, but it's that thing of like some of the only scenes that I could like halfway tolerate were the scenes where Alfred's doing stuff and he's interacting with super people. Because at least it's like him being like either defensive or like sort of criticizing something. Even if it's the way Wonder Woman's doing tea, which I thought was a bad and foreseen, it was still something. And I just don't know if Jeremy Irons is a good butler. Like that's not
my favorite Alfred scene is when Batman gets off a helicopter and he walks Batman to another helicopter.
Yeah, that fucking scene where it's just like, all right, well, here's your other place. I'm going to walk you there, though. I don't know why I'm here. And all he's doing is being like, well, you're not doing a very good job, huh? Like, that's the whole conversation.
It's time for my weird critical walk between helicopters with you just to keep you humble, I guess.
How you doing, dipshit? I don't know. Like, I feel like there could be a remake of this movie again. In fact, we should remake it every 5 years for the rest of time. Yeah. But different people should remake it with different actors, and it should just be the same movie, but like different shit. And like we could see all the ways that different different directors would be like, this is how we're gonna make the Joker look like he just had a half rack of ribs in the last scene. This is how we're gonna do fucking Batman's cool glasses. Like all the shit could just be like a new take on it. Those glasses are the worst. Why is he wearing those?
Oh, God.
For anyone who's curious, Batman's face, being Ben Affleck in a mask that widens his face further, has the smallest little, like, angular glasses you've ever seen on.
Little tiny, yeah.
And they cut out the scene where he's, like, Superman shows up and he's like, oh! They cut that out.
I was looking forward to that.
Was one of my two favorite things about that old movie. That and when Aquaman is jumping around in the air like a cartoon and goes, yeah! They cut that out too. But, fuck. I got a lot of terrible pictures in here. Where's the... I gotta hold up...
I like the brief scene that you get with, what's this? He played the Goblin in... Shoot, what's his name?
The Goblin.
He played the Goblin.
Willem Dafoe. Yes.
Yeah. We get like a brief Willem Dafoe scene.
That was an early. Well, it's like an hour or so in, but that was an unexpected pleasure. Having my good friend, who I've seen his dick, Willem Dafoe, on screen, being like, "You're Jesus too, Aquaman." That was actually quite good. Also, a lot of like people online making a big deal about like, so Zack Snyder finally tells us all that they create air bubbles under the water to talk to each other, which is just
I also noticed that and did not really understand. I still don't understand the rules, but I haven't seen. Yeah, I guess that's part of it.
This is not the best photo, but it is an accurate photo. Hey! I'm Batman. God, that sucks.
Oh, I was so looking forward to his little oh yay, Superman moment.
It's so good. That is like the best scene in the original.
It's very pure, and they cut it out.
Yeah, Batman as a pure cherry boy is not in this movie, unfortunately, except in the mouse touch, of course. That's what they have for this one. I didn't like the conversation where they were talking about how Wonder Woman's the oldest person there, so like we're all children to her. That one made me uncomfortable.
Oh yeah, that one was weird.
It was also while they were digging up Superman's corpse, which was an interesting choice for having a conversation about whether it was okay or not to bang Wonder Woman. This could have been better as a scene, but I guess not. Superman seems like a real piece of shit in this movie. And granted, he seems like a real piece of shit in all of Zack Snyder's movies, but the only reason why that bothers me, because like I'm not a huge Superman fan anyway, is because it seems like Zack Snyder likes that version of Superman and thinks that's actually good. Like that's sort of where the Ayn Rand comparisons come in, where he wants Superman to be less like tied down to not being Jesus.
Yeah.
Do you like that he flies to space to do the Christ pose for seemingly no reason? He just flies into space up to the top of the world and goes like, "It's me, Jesus again," and then flies back. That's all he does.
Just in case you forgot or don't understand.
And he already did that in Man of Steel. He already went to space and did the Christ pose, but at least he like saved an astronaut while he was there. I don't like that they constantly talk about being able to pick up the scent of the mother box. That's just me being like particular about the way words work, but I hated it every time they did it.
I also did not enjoy that. I like how the evil henchmen people kind of just look like bugs. Wasps.
Yeah. They wanted to make a version of the bad guys that they could make over and over again without anybody being too critical.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were fine. They had little goggles on, I believe. That was amusing.
What was the lore with those? Like, weren't they the people who they had fought previously, and like they had joined them or something like that, or been?
So I think so. So Darkseid is a weird character in that when comics get to the point where they're like branching into like superheroes fighting the universe, it always does this shit where it's like kind of in the same way that Thanos works in a vacuum, kind of, but like when you put him into a greater version of the universe, there's literally a man who's like or like a man being who's like who just eats planets in the Marvel universe. Why is that not like there's a living planet in the Marvel universe? There's like all these characters in the Marvel universe that are, one, very stupid, but two, should be like a problem for Thanos, but they just sort of forget about that while they're dealing with it. That stuff always bothers me, and it turns into this shit where like Darkseid in the DC universe is somehow both all-powerful and also he got an axe to the arm, and it not only defeated him, it made him forget where Earth was and what Earth is, and that he made a big design on Earth and all that shit. He just forgot about it.
Oh yeah. I really liked that battle montage scene where they're like, this was the great grand battle that we won before, and they beat him in like 30 seconds, and you're kind of just like, why don't you do that again?
Yeah, they beat him right away, and they beat him so bad that he forgot everything he'd ever done, I guess.
Yep.
Because later on, he's like, what? It's on Earth? It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? The only place where you lost, you forgot where that was?
Yeah.
And that you, like, came down and went, like, here's my equation, and then they chopped you in the arm? It's very stupid. And that kind of logic has to be there for those kinds of characters to exist, because, like, they suck. Mm-hmm. Like, there's nothing for them to do. The version of this that usually works okay is when there's just a group of villains who are similarly powerful. They can kind of, like, make them smash into each other. But that's really all you can do for, like, this kind of superhero stuff. Instead, they make, like... So, they show a little bit of Darkseid stuff in the, like, dumb visions, and visions come up way too much in the Snyder version of these movies, but when they're doing the thing that's like, Flash has to run through a spaceship into the mother box to jumpstart who gives a shit, and Cyborg, in the process, just gets a vision of all the bad stuff that could happen.
Yeah.
And part of that vision is showing what I guess Zack Snyder thinks is cool, and honestly, there's probably a lot of comic book nerds that think it's cool, that Darkseid shoots eye lasers that just go all over the place for some reason. And I've always hated that. There's even a fighting game from a couple years ago where Darkseid does that, and it's stupid there too. But, like, for some reason, having a bunch of power means that you can shoot eye lasers and then control them afterwards. And it's just shots of him like, hey, and then eye lasers all over the place with, like, people turning into skeletons or whatever behind him. It's very stupid. Also, so how shitty is Superman if one person dying means that he goes evil forever? That just seems really stupid.
That seems pretty bad. Yeah.
Also, so the plot that they're trying to say happens, and this is also in the, like, the scripting stuff, because this is supposed to be a trilogy and the first of the three, which, that's a nightmare. I'm glad they're not doing that. But the script idea was that Superman's doing other shit, fails to keep Lois alive while bad shit is happening. And that's why Superman is evil and also trying to kill Batman. None of that makes sense. Like, so that storyline is that Darkseid apparently succeeds in killing Lois because that matters. And then that turns Superman evil and also wants to kill Batman instead of the person who did it. I just don't know where the logic is. Like, I know it's a comic book. There's always going to be some kind of, like, oh, it's his evil influence. But, like, is it? Like, that seems very stupid, especially because when Superman comes back from the dead, spoilers, and is, like, and is just basically shitty Witcher beating up other celebrities.
Yeah, spoiler alert, the Jesus figure comes back to life.
In a very Jesus-y way, because Jesus also came back and just beat up all the apostles. But, like, that scene, he doesn't have his memory, so his immediate feeling is that he should just kill everyone he can find, apparently. Like, I don't get what Superman is doing if his instincts are to just kill everybody all the time. That seems...
And the only thing keeping him from that is Lois.
Yeah, the only thing keeping him from that is the hug that Lois gives him, apparently. And then his mom, who I guess has been sitting in a moving truck for the last year, drives back into the driveway Unless that's also Martian Manhunter, which is the only version of that I like. Uh, where she comes back to the farm and comes and also hangs out with him. I don't like the Superman's women scene. I think that sucks. I just generally don't like Superman in this movie or in general, so I guess that's fair.
But why? He's such a deep and interesting character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What were your favorite Superman moments?
I think my favorite Superman moments were shoot. Well, definitely the Jesus pose. I mean, that's pretty
that
up
goes
there.
Without saying, yeah.
Yeah. I like when he first comes back in his evil Superman and is just beating up on everyone.
For no reason, yeah.
For no reason. Yeah, I like that.
There's a real theme of people trying to kill or killing other people because of a perceived threat that actually is not threatening to them.
Yeah, like maybe you should talk to each other for 2 minutes. Yeah. Just a little bit. But no, that's not important. What else? What other Superman scene? I don't know. Superman is just boring.
Just kind of there. Yeah.
But yeah, I want a more Aquaman.
I think one of the few parts of that movie that I still don't think is very good, but I think shows that there could be a movie that is okay with these characters, is the scene where they go rescue Cyborg's dad from that like island. I thought that was I thought that was okay. I don't think it was good, but I thought that was like a scene at least. They had a Batman spider tank for some reason. They had very questionable city design. They had Aquaman controlling water, I guess, and everybody being like, so sexy. They had Cyborg doing something, and they had a Flash scene that wasn't creepy, where he stopped debris from falling on people. All of that was like a movie almost.
Almost. It's so funny. You keep bringing up scenes that I don't even remember until you bring it up. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that did happen. Because this movie is 10 years long.
Yeah.
I should have taken notes, but I decided to drink instead of doing that.
You did the right thing. So I have a note here that just says Batman gets happier and finds Jesus.
Yeah.
That's true.
That does happen.
I also have a note in all capitals that just says Superman's women. I do like that he flies straight to his old house with Lois and then just starts like walking around going like, ooh, corn. Like that's his shit, I guess. So that scene where Batman is just shooting lasers at bug people and wearing the little glasses, I think that they thought that was really cool because they focused on it quite a bit. Also, that section of the scene where the Flash just can conveniently heal, but only when it is absolutely necessary. That was also something.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
To be fair, the Flash in comic books is sort of one of those characters that's like both the least and most powerful character, and they just kind of give them context to change that. So it's already a character that's a little bit obnoxious in comic books for that. But the fact that he can like reverse time and also like heal himself And
he kind of like helps bring Superman back from the dead too, right?
right, yeah. He's just kind of like omni-powerful.
Yeah, kind of
But
does it all.
only sometimes.
Only sometimes when he's not caressing people's faces and plucking hot dogs out of the air.
Also, how many people do you think died in hospitals when Cyborg turned all the power off to come beat Wonder Woman?
A few. Yeah. It's not important.
You'd think that his Illuminati superpowers would allow him to foresee that being a bad idea.
It's okay. He'll just find the family's bank accounts and go, ooh.
It's okay. Hold on. Yeah, that shit pissed me off because it was like, I feel like what they were trying to do was saying like he's angsty and he doesn't want to ask for help, but he's like showing that he's interested, and that's fine. You don't have to have him make terrible decisions in the process of that. Like there's nothing different about that scene if he walks out of an alleyway in a hoodie and talks to her. It's the same scene. But instead he had to fly from space and turn everything off, which I will note makes it easier to see him. Like he's a big metal man flying down from the sky. You turn all the lights off, it just makes it easier to see what's happening. Yeah. A lot of bad choices on that shit. So it may sound like, well, they also, I thought it was, what'd you think of Steppenwolf as a character? Because I had mixed feelings about that.
Steppenwolf is the one with the like morphing armor, correct?
Yeah. With the
I thought the armor was visually interesting.
I had no problem with the armor. I thought it was funny that he just suddenly got spikes when he was upset. That was kind of like, oh, all right, sure.
Kind of reminds me of like a lizard or something that just like puffs up and gets mad. So that was kind of fun. Other than that,
I thought that was fine. He didn't. So they added more pathos to that character, I feel like, in this one, which they'd have to because he's in a bunch more shit. But I also, I don't know. I feel like if they weren't cowards, they could have just made a movie about, like, I guess about having like Darkseid actually coming or showing up. I don't know. I can't criticize too much. I don't know what I would do different, but I feel like maybe it's just an inherent problem with superhero movies that you have somebody who's kind of like a little bit boring and a little bit just like a punch man, and then you decapitate him and throw him through a portal at the end. Like that's sort of They're also very triumphant about we cut this man's head off finally, which is sort of like, all right, I guess justice is served. Very, very weird movie. Now it might sound like that's the end of the movie, but it isn't. Because they have to
think that.
They have to show you a half hour of vignettes afterwards because this has to also end like the Lord of the Rings in order to be authentic. Also, I feel like they showed a character who made a lot more Lex Luthor visual sense in that scene where there's a fake Lex Luthor in the prison sanatorium thing. They never explain what's happening in that scene. They don't really even give you enough information to understand why things are doing what they're doing in that scene. They just kind of assume like, we'll get it. They also just show like it's a very not standalone movie the stuff that happened in the old movies is like very required to understand parts of that. Like, he's the person who like gets in contact with Steppenwolf at the end of like Batman v Superman, I want to say. But they
That's
like
kind of important.
yeah, they only kind of insinuate that happened by showing him standing in like a pool of Superman ship water at the very beginning of the movie while there's like soundtrack playing. It's just like Jesse Eisenberg like, huh? Like looking behind him for like a moment, and it's like, I guess that explains it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next time you see him, I think he's bald by the time you see him next for some reason. uh do you know what do you know why Lex Luthor hates Superman in the comics?
No.
So they kind of retcon it later to be like Lex Luthor worked hard his whole life and Superman just had like unlimited power like as soon as he showed up.
Oh.
But the original reason why Lex Luthor hated Superman and wanted to end the world just to get him was because Superman blew all of his hair off. So like
he blew it like with air?
Yeah, I believe it's an accident.
Okay.
That's
good.
why he hates him in the comic book. Honestly, I would have loved that to be the reason in these movies. Like, at least I have something to be like, oh, that guy's crazy. He's trying to, like, kill Superman because he blew his hair off. But instead, it's just like in the last in Batman v Superman, I think I mentioned this in the last episode where we talked about this. He blows up like a congresswoman, and there's a bomb in a food cart that gets pushed into like Congress, and there's a jar full of piss that has like her name on it, and then it blows up like that part of Congress or something because she was like not nice to him at one point. Like his character arc is just bananas. He
That's
also
more interesting than a Superman type who's
right.
Just...
Like it's a I don't know. I've also heard defenders of Batman v Superman, and that ain't true. Like I had to show Nick the scene where Batman scuttles like a cockroach up into the ceiling, and like that movie's bad too. Them having moms with the same name being the reason why they're friends.
God.
That's actually, before we talk about the ending vignette, I want to know and really think about this. What do you think Zack Snyder thinks about people's parents based on this movie? Because like there's definitely a lot of parent shit in this movie.
Yeah.
I think literally every character.
Yeah, and now thinking about like Sucker Punch too. That's the only other movie of his that I've seen.
I'm sorry about that, but also good job.
Seems like there's he's definitely got a thing going on about
yep. True.
Having parents be some kind of weird sacrificial angelic characters that still are kind of like a I don't know, a non-factor somehow.
Yeah, they're like moms especially are like pure. Like
like Virgin Mary.
Moms are all Virgin Mary, and dads are like usually problematic in some way. But not like in a discernible way, because I want to say Aquaman's dad basically is. I mean, he's played by like the actor who plays the clones from Star Wars, but with a beard in that movie. But then the his mom was the queen or whatever, and his dad is literally just like sort of a drunk fisherman. But he, like, through the story, it's like, oh, he gave up so much for Aquaman. Superman's dad in Man of Steel has one of the funniest scenes in all of superhero movies, in which a tornado hits a street, and his dad goes, "I'm gonna go save those people. I know you could do it. I know you could do it, son." Because I think Superman's like 17 or something. But you can't ever let people know that you have power, and you need to hide who you are. I love you, son. And he literally just runs and is like killed by the tornado, like right away. And it's hilarious because it's this idea of like, what does that teach anybody? Like, all right, son, nobody's gonna live through this. Watch me die.
You can stop this, but don't.
You could stop it. And then like Cyborg's dad is like, I hate you for bringing me back to life. And then also like, I'm gonna superheat this cube. Like, that's his story arc. And in the middle, it's, I'm gonna bring you back to life. The middle chapter is, I'm gonna make you irresponsibly powerful for no reason. And then the last part is, I'm gonna kill myself to heat up this box. Like, that's his arc. Also, I feel like there would be other ways around that kind of shit, but like, if he's gonna die anyway, it kind of seems like he could have used his, I guess, super intelligence to like think of a plan where he dies, but maybe doesn't start the end of the world. But who knows?
You would think.
It's hard to say. Batman's parents are pretty. Everybody knows what happens to Batman's parents. Flash's dad is in prison. Flash's mother, I want to say, was like murdered by, I guess, spoilers for other material, murdered by like an alternate dimension version of, I think, his professor in college, who became jealous later of the Flash and became a negative Flash and wears yellow.
The anti-Flash.
Comes back through time and like kills his mother for no reason, and then his dad ends up in prison. I don't remember exactly how that goes, but it's very stupid, and the Flash's storyline is pretty dumb. Also, that lady whose face the Flash caresses is his wife eventually.
Oh, yeah, I think I was told that.
You were made aware of that.
I was informed of that fact.
I don't think that makes it even slightly better. It actually makes it worse in some ways. But,
it kind of does, actually.
Yeah.
How many scenes is she in?
That one.
Just that one, right?
You literally see her leaving a room as he enters, and he's like, "Hey," and then he like gets real gropey, and that's it. That's her entire movie time.
Okay.
I would love to see a Bechdel test, like on this movie. I feel like.
What is that?
Bechdel test is if you pass the Bechdel test, you have female characters talking together and not talking about or referencing men that they love or are like involved with. I feel like there's gotta be scenes with the Wonder Woman stuff where that happens, but the main characters I don't think do. Like, when women talk to each other, it's pretty much just about guys.
Yeah, I don't know that I can remember a certain conversation other than just the short scene of the what is her name? The Wonder Woman's like people. The Amazons, is that what they are?
Yeah, the
like
Amazonians.
The Amazonians, like guarding the cube. I guess that's women talking to other women.
It's more women yelling at the same thing, but yeah. I think that would technically count, but I don't think that's a legitimate pass for how that goes down.
No, I don't think so. But
yeah, there's nearly unlimited analysis that could be done on this movie, but I don't know that any of it is really worth it. While we still have time, though, I think we should at least mention they essentially make an entire last act out of what would be post-credit scenes in this. The first one, I believe, is oh, Jesus Christ. Did you watch the credits of this? Okay.
I did not.
I have a request, and it's only watch the credits, but I'll tell you why, and you can pretend like you did later. Like, don't do it, really. So in the post-credit / last act / pre-credits, Slade Wilson, who is, I forget if he's a copy that DC did of Deadpool, or if Deadpool is a copy of him. His name is Deadshot. And wait.
Oh.
Is it? No, he's not Deadshot. He's Deathstroke. Doesn't matter. It's Joe Manganiello, who I typically like and stuff. It's Big Beefcake Man goes to see Jesse Eisenberg on a boat. So in the comics, basically his character, I like his character okay. He's also weird. He's kind of used like Cyborg, where he'll show up and stuff, but he's not really like always around. But his big deal is he wants to kill Batman, and I forget why. But he's like the same as Batman if he didn't care about murder or like hurting people. So his whole thing is like he's sort of a hitman, but like he's just sort of a unscrupulous Batman, which honestly in most comics Batman is also an unscrupulous Batman, so it doesn't matter.
That's what it seems like.
Yeah, I don't think Batman really cares about killing people. He just likes to tell himself that he cares about it. I mean, watch Batman from like 89 and 91. He fucking loves it. Burning that man with the fire shooting tailpipe of his car and being like, hey, yeah! When Michael Keaton is playing him is the best. It's very funny, but he really plays him as a psychopath well. But he meets up with him on a boat, and he's like, I don't know, I forget what he offers him. It's basically like, I have a plan that'll get rid of like Batman / Superman or whatever, and he's like, okay, cool. And that's like a whole scene that they want you to know about.
Okay.
And then I think the next scene is that flashback scene in like the Mad Max land, where it's there has to be something before that, but there's probably like there's probably like a Superman and Lois like getting back to normal scene or something. Doesn't matter. Then there's a flash forward scene or whatever that's what it's like Cyborg, the Lady Wizard from Aquaman's Atlantis crew, Deathstroke, Batman, all traveling together, and then it's focusing on Batman, I think, and they do the fucking garbage of, you hear the Joker go like, we live in a society, and then it looks over and he's like sitting on like the hood of a car or something. So that scene being added because Snyder was like, I gotta get these two titans of cinema in the same scene. It just fucking sucks. Like, that scene is not good. But also they're just like talking about tough guy shit. Like that seems to be all of it. They insinuate that like, well, because Robin was already dead by the time the earlier movies happened in this storyline, and then he talks about Harley Quinn being dead in this scene, and it really is nothing. Batman says that like Harley Quinn, when she was dying, told him that he should like kill the Joker or some shit. None of it matters though. Like it's completely inconsequential, and the Joker has like a big juice. Like he just drank a bunch of Kool-Aid ring around his mouth for seemingly no reason. I don't know why that scene exists, except that like I guess somebody out there wants it. Just
probably, or are they planning on? You said this was part of a trilogy, but are they making more?
So I think Snyder wanted this to be his plea to like pick up making the other movies again. But I have an image that I'm going to send you now that I find very funny. This is that should be on its way. This is the graph of people watching HBO Max during different movie releases. This is incongruous with the way that the internet acted like things were, but I like it very much.
That is very incongruous with that.
Yeah.
The Wonder Woman one, really? Wow.
Well, so that was the first major release that came after COVID. Like that was their big like, oh, you know what? We are going to put movies out just on our service now. I mean, Mulan's not on that list because I think that was first, but Mulan had so much bad press by the time it came out that it wasn't going to do much. Yeah. That honestly, that's probably that like October rise. That like little bump that it has.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I also thought this was funny because so this graph shows like basically people's interaction with HBO streaming for these movies and during these movies releases. And just so people don't think this is like what was happening when what's that series that Lovecraft County or Lovecraft Country, because I think that was an HBO series, right? That show is really good, and like its streaming share stuff doesn't show up, but I think it was like in this general zone. So these are not like influenced by the fact that that happened. Wonder Woman is this giant spike. This next spike that looks like it would be Justice League, that's not Justice League. That's Black Judas. This little bump here, that's Justice League. And then that is Godzilla, where it shoots back up. Godzilla versus King Kong, Godzilla versus Kong is not a good movie, but like it was fun to watch, and it wasn't 4 hours.
That's always a plus.
The Snyder's Justice League cut did not do very well compared to anything else, and I think that's pretty funny.
That is definitely not the way that the internet reacted to it.
No.
That's so funny. Huh.
But I don't think he's going to be making those other movies. I mean, they said he wasn't going to already, but like people keep repeating this thing of like, well, they'd be crazy not to have him make these other movies. But like, think about how much money those movies cost and how much like problematic shit is in them. If this was a new release, like the ideas in it are very like police state and very like not current. There is a last scene in this movie. I think it's the last scene, and that is where after the flash forward, Batman just wakes up in one of his, I guess, many homes. This one is like, looks like it's in Canada by like Niagara Falls or some shit, or somewhere. and it just is like a big fancy porch next to like scenery. And he gets up in this big glass room and then like walks out to his balcony, and Martian Manhunter just comes down. Also, I need you to know, and I'm sure that your watching companion also said this. Did you get what Martian Manhunter's name is? Because I find it amazing.
I don't remember. No, I did not catch it.
His name is John. It's
J-O-O'. I remember reading that in either the credits or something. And
there's a lot of people in the DC universe that are just regular names with apostrophes in the middle, like they're in Lord of the Rings or something.
John.
Yeah. Anyway, it very similar naming schemes and like early Star Wars treatments and stuff, where there's Luke, and Luke, because they make clones of him in the original fiction stuff. Anyway, Martian Manhunter comes down and says like, "Hey, I'm gonna hang out now." Like, he literally does not say anything else that's useful. But then at the end he says, "Some call me the Martian Manhunter," which in the context of this, I have no idea why they're using that name. They don't need to. It doesn't make any sense without context. And honestly, it doesn't make sense with context.
It doesn't make sense that he would introduce himself that way.
That's like, I'm glad to meet you, Batman. They call me Killmaster 5000. Bye! Anyway, the last thing that I want to touch on, at least in this movie, I know you probably have a lot of really important stuff about it, is that if you do watch the credits, from the beginning of the credits, 10 minutes down to the end of the credits, they play different versions of Hallelujah. The entire credits.
I remember hearing that. Okay, I remember. No, I'm having flashbacks to that.
Really, really bad. It is.
Yeah.
And I already don't think that song should be played all the time. And people love listening to it, I guess, because I don't know why. But, like, having a bunch of different versions of it sucks. And the last version, once you get to the end of the credits, is just like, it sounds like being in like a shitty bar and like somebody's doing karaoke. It's just like, they're just using different versions of the song and it sucks and it's getting worse. Like the whole
Do they really just play like a bunch of different versions of it, like one after the other?
Yeah. It's bad.
Why?
Zack Snyder is not good at stuff.
I didn't remember that. I remembered hearing Hallelujah, but I didn't remember that it was multiple versions.
Yeah. It's rough. Speaking of rough, I remembered a thing that I forgot to talk about. This is just real brief. You remember, and other people may remember from earlier episodes, I was getting a lot of Trump emails because I was an idiot and wanted to see. So I got an email from what was the Trump email and is now the RNC email. The RNC. So the reason why this is ridiculous is because this is an RNC, Republican National Convention, email list. This should be the opinions of the Republican National Convention, which should be at least sane, right? This email is titled, "Take a Stand Against George Soros." The start of it reads, this is just so people know, the start of it reads, "Jesse, this is a disgrace," all capitals. "Liberal billionaire George Soros's Open Society Foundations pledged $20 million, all capitals, to ensure Biden's radical, all capitals, big government plans are enacted. If passed, these plans would raise taxes, all capitals, by 2 trillion. And then it goes on with, yes, you read that right. And yes, we're as angry as you are. Liberal mega donors have no business buying and influencing political policies that will directly affect working everyday Americans like you. Of course, that means they're asking for money from people like
right.
I don't think people should be cool with the Republican National Convention email requesting money from people to defeat George Soros, which is like the linchpin of anti-Jewish sentiment in the US. That seems like maybe a bad thing for the RNC to be doing criticizing.
Yeah, that seems like a red flag.
Uh-huh.
God, is it normal for Trump's email list to also get sent to the RNC's like email things? I mean, I guess it makes sense that would eventually happen, but it seems like it shouldn't. Maybe.
I mean, they've already had people uncovering that those email lists, once people paid once, they were oftentimes just getting new payments enacted without their permission.
Oh, wow.
Like, that's been a recent thing that they're like looking into. That shit is all shady, but the fact that it's just like straight up like modern Nazi shit that they're starting to like repeat is also very shady.
Yeah.
I just didn't want to skip that entirely. I already had too much stuff going into this, but that one I didn't want to have skipped.
No, that's a good thing to call out.
Yeah. Speaking of George Soros, did you have any last opinions on the Justice League?
I would like more sweater sniffing.
Yep. 100%.
And then the ones to come.
That sweater sniffing gave her more singing energy. She really picked it up after that.
She really just like absorbed his essence.
She got the spirit in her.
She got it. I want more of that. I don't know. I guess I want to see more really horrible scenes with the Flash. And them hopefully not doing like creepy shit to his significant other person eventually, but
more Flash panty raids, more Flash dorm invasions. You know, the usual. How about just the scene of the Flash like dropping some revenge porn on the internet or something? You know, Flash stuff.
You know who would be the best candidate to drop some revenge porn? That would be Cyborg, because he's got access to everything.
It's true. He can probably doctor up revenge porn of whoever he wants to. So
I'm pretty sure he knows Photoshop.
I mean, you saw how good that bull and bear looked. That didn't look bad.
Mm-mm. It really made me think.
Yeah, it really made me think too.
Yeah.
I would watch an entire movie of Cyborg walking around his mind palace and doing dumb shit, and then it flashing to him on the street like
just sneaking out from behind like corners, watching people discover the money he's put in their bank account.
Yeah.
Because he has a heart of gold, I guess. I don't know.
It was almost surprising he wasn't jerking off under a coat when it backed up from that scene. Speaking of, before we run out of time, I'm going to give us a little haiku for Poetry Month. Working on I'm not going to call it necessarily sex positive, but a charged poetry publication. This is most people who have heard stuff from this book already. This is the one you probably heard. I just like it, so I'm going to start with this one. A haiku.
I'm ready.
Panties. Boxers. Bras. Oppressive underclothing. The junk lies beyond. Thank you.
That was really, really good.
I did misspell oppressive. Don't worry, it's just my sketchbook.
I think we just named the episode "The Junk Lies Beyond" now.
Good, great. The only other title I had for it was "What Could Kill Him," and it's probably better to stick with that. All right, I think we're out of time. Thank you for watching this movie, and I'm sorry about everything.
You're welcome.
McClunky and the Jabbers.
Joy. Begone thoughts, I guess.